So here's a classic debate for you. Is it actually cheaper to build your own digital setup at home, or should you just rent space in the cloud? It's a huge question, right? Well, today we're going to get a real answer. We're diving into a head-to-head cost showdown, all based on the real-world journey of our founder here at Skillwanderer, Quan Nguyen, who decided to go all in and build his own home data center. And really, this is the question at the heart of it all. What is the real cost of doing your own thing? And we're not just talking about the sticker price. We're talking about everything. The time, the effort, and what you actually get in return when you decide to go fully independent.
Now, this isn't just some thought experiment. This is the real story of our founder, Quan, and his mission to run all of his projects, and yeah, that includes the Skillwanderer blog, where this whole analysis came from, on a data center that he built with his own two hands, right in his home.
And he really did it. You gotta love his own words here. The blog is, "Proudly served from the Kubernetes cluster I've painstakingly built at home." That word, painstakingly, says it all. That hands-on experience, that struggle and success, is exactly what makes this the perfect real-world case study.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's pull back the curtain and look at the actual bill. What does it really cost to keep this home data center humming for 1 month? We're gonna break down every single dollar. First up, the power bill. To run all the hardware, we're talking servers, networking gear, the whole shebang, it comes out to just $2.87 a month. And get this, that's a maximum estimate. That's assuming every single device is running at 100% capacity 24/7. So in reality, it's probably even cheaper. That is literally less than a cup of coffee to power the entire operation. Wild.
Of course, a server isn't much use if it can't talk to the rest of the world. So the internet bill adds another $8.91 for a piece of a 1 gigabit per second plan. Now, this is a really critical point. Unlike the cloud providers who nickel and dime you for data transfer, they charge you for every gigabyte you send out, this is just a flat fee. No surprise bills, no matter how popular the blog gets. That's huge. And finally, we've got to account for the hardware itself. Quan bought some new gear for this, like an Orange Pi 5 Plus. Now, instead of thinking of it as one big hit to the wallet, we do what's called depreciation. We just spread that cost out over how long we expect the gear to last. So if we play it safe and say it has a 3-year lifespan, that adds just a little over $10 to the monthly bill.
All right, so let's put it all together. You take the electricity, that flat rate internet, and the monthly piece of the hardware cost, and the grand total, using that more conservative 3-year estimate, comes out to just under $22 a month, $22. So our final baseline number is somewhere between about $18 and $22 a month. That little range just depends on whether you want to spread the hardware cost over 5 years or 3. This is our magic number. This is what we're going to put up against the giants of the cloud. Okay, now for the main event. How does this scrappy little home lab actually stack up against the Goliaths, like Amazon Web Services, and maybe a more budget-friendly option like Hostinger? Let's see. And whoa, the first comparison's it's staggering. To get the same raw power that 2 machines set up on AWS Lightsail, you'd be looking at around $320 a month. That is nearly 15 times more expensive than our home lab. The difference in cost for comparable hardware is it's not even close. Okay, so what about a budget host like Hostinger? At first glance, it looks pretty good, right? A single, powerful machine from them costs about the same as our entire home lab. But, and you knew there was a but, here's the catch. That's a promotional price. After 2 years, that price more than doubles. It's that classic introductory deal that you really have to watch out for. So, we've seen the headline numbers, but now let's lay it all out, side by side, for a direct comparison. This is where the real trade-offs, the real choices you have to make become crystal clear.
This table just lays it all out so perfectly. Just look at that ownership row. With the home lab, you own the asset. With the cloud, nope, you're just renting. Then look at the bottom row, the hidden cost. For the home lab, it's your time. For AWS, it's vendor lock-in. For Hostinger, it's that nasty renewal price jump. It really forces you to ask, what do you value more? And that brings us to the real soul of this whole debate. Because the best choice isn't always just about the lowest price on the bill. We have to look past the numbers and talk about the intangible stuff, the value you just can't put on a spreadsheet.
This right here, this is the real reason you'd build a home lab. It's a massive investment in yourself. The amount you learn is just incredible. You get total control, total freedom from vendors, and you truly, deeply understand how the technology works from the ground up. Honestly, this is Skillwanderer's whole philosophy in a nutshell. You learn best by doing. But let's hit the brakes for a second. We gotta be real. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. There is a time tax, and it can be steep. You are responsible for everything. Security, backups. When something breaks at 3 a.m., the buck stops with you, and that requires a serious investment of your most valuable resource, your time.
But check out how our founder, Quan, reframes that cost. He doesn't see the time tax as a burden. He sees it as a willing investment in learning new skills. And that simple shift in perspective, it changes everything. It turns the effort from being a chore into being the main benefit of the whole project. So after all that, after weighing the money, the convenience, those intangible gains, and the real-world effort, what's the final verdict? Is Quan's home data center actually a cost-effective project? The answer is a clear, resounding yes. But, and this is the most important part, notice that qualifier, for this specific journey. Because his goal was deep, hands-on learning and building a powerful, flexible launchpad for anything he wants to do next, for that goal, the home lab is the absolute, undeniable winner. And this really forces us to redefine what cost-effective even means. It's not just about the price tag. True cost-effectiveness is the total value you get back from your total investment. And that value is measured in skills, in control, and in knowledge, not just in dollars saved. Think about it like this. It's the classic difference between renting and owning. In the cloud, you're a renter. The second you stop paying your bill, your digital home vanishes. Poof, gone. But with a home lab, you own the asset. That hardware has real value, and you can reuse it for a million other projects for years to come. So, in the end, this whole debate really boils down to one simple question for you. For your next project, for your own learning journey, what are you going to invest in? Will it be the simple plug-and-play convenience of the cloud, or will it be the deep learning and absolute control that comes from building it yourself? The answer is going to define your path. Thanks for tuning in.